Hey everyone, you're watching KTAL News Now. I'm your host Anthony Mocklin, and today is Monday. It's the start of another week. I know everybody hates the Mondays, but just I'll promise you we can just get through this if you stick around. We have an exciting show today where we'll be recapping the weekend events on KTAL News Now, which streams every Monday through Friday at 1 p.m. And our first topic covers the recent red ribbon cutting of Hollywood Quick Stop over the weekend, and this month is National Black Business Month for the month of August, and the Shreveport Bossier African American Chamber of Commerce helped kick off that month with a red ribbon cutting of a black-owned business, and KTAL's Lynn Vance has more about the recent business that opened and the cutting that took place.
August is National Black Business Month, a time to recognize and support Black-owned businesses. The Shreveport Bossier African American Chamber is helping shine a spotlight on these businesses.
We are always advocating for Black businesses in our community to get the word out about the services that they offer to help them grow their clientele.
Today, the Chamber and community cut the ribbon on Hollywood Quick Stop on Linwood Avenue. It was a proud moment for owner Eric Stevens.
It means everything to have ownership, It's a big step, but it means a lot.
National Black Business Month also hopes to encourage young people to pursue entrepreneurship through example.
It's just something that, our kids need to see, and something that's, very vital for them to see and to know that they can do it and it's possible for them also.
The Chamber has more ribbon cuttings and activities planned this month.
We have a lot of activities throughout the month that we're going to be presenting and offering to our small businesses or just our businesses around the community. And we're going to put out a calendar soon.
Lynn Vance, Fox 33.
And you can find more information about Hollywood Quick Stop on our website, as well as the other grand openings that will be taking place this month. There's another black-owned business that will be opening this Friday, as well as another one that is on August 23rd, I believe. And if you want more details on those, like I said, you can visit us on ktalnews.com. And while those businesses have recently opened, the Shreveport Police Department also celebrated a grand opening of their first substation here in Shreveport. And KTAL's Lynn Vance was also there to give more details about their opening.
The raising of the flag signaled the imminent opening of a new Shreveport Police substation on Monkhouse, the first new substation supported by bonds passed by citizens.
Welcome. This is a great day for Shreveport. It's a great day for District F. And it's a great day for all of the people of Shreveport.
Police Chief Wayne Smith pointed out this building is the first to be built specifically to house police officers. It's located near the gateway to the city Shreveport Regional Airport.
This is now a permanent home of some 78 plus police officers, 40 plus police cars, and all kinds of other equipment.
Captain Matthew Prunty will be in charge of the new substation and its officers. He said patrol cars being located on Monkhouse will decrease wear and tear on the vehicles and increase response times.
One of the credits for being at this location is the I-20 corridor. Here we go again with the response time. We have this interstate right here to get us to and fro quicker than we could from coming from downtown.
The new Shreveport Police Traffic Bureau was also built just down the street from the substation. It's the new home for traffic officers, and it contains a state-of-the-art DUI processing center.
We're going to continue to ensure we meet the needs of our community. And that means modernizing.
Lynn Vance, Fox 33.
And facilities like that substation for the Shreveport Police can help them better serve the community, as you heard from the police chief say. And another way that businesses and entities are helping the community is through back-to-school drives. Since back-to-school is rapidly approaching, we are in August now, so schools are about to start back up. And several companies and organizations are giving away free school supplies, including backpacks, pens, pencils, notebooks, paper, anything that will help students get ready for school. And one of those was a local church who wanted to give back to the community by hosting their version of a school drive, and they helped kids get ready for school with backpacks that were filled with school supplies. And Lynn Vance has more on the drive and how it is benefiting the community.
Russell Road Church of Christ held a drive-through backpack giveaway today from 10 a.m. to noon. The backpacks were filled with school supplies. They had backpacks for younger kids and older kids with the appropriate supplies in each. This was their first year holding the event.
Felt that, it was a need for the neighborhood, for this community, to do some outreach, especially during time kids going back to school. It's kind of hard on parents, pocketbook, so we thought it was a good deal, a good time to do this.
And they also handed out snacks to the families as they picked up their school supplies.
And one thing that's becoming increasingly vital and in need is those school supplies. So if you are looking to donate or provide organizations with supplies to provide for children, the United Way of Northwest Louisiana recently partnered with Bossier Parish Schools over the weekend for a back-to-school drive at one of the Walmarts in Bossier City. And KTAL's Dan Jovic has more on how they're doing their part to help students prepare for school.
They set up shop outside the Walmart Supercenter on Airline Drive, encouraging shoppers to make a donation to their school supply drive for teachers and students. Many families don't have the means to provide school supplies, backpacks, and lunch boxes. Events like today help everyone start their year with fewer worries.
Some of them won't have everything everybody else has gotten, so we want everybody to start on the same playing field.
Anything to help students, particularly those that are in the ALICE families, the asset limited, income constrained but employed, i.e. the working poor, anything that we can do to help them really goes a long way because they don't qualify for public assistance.
United Way says there are more than 4,000 school-age children locally who identify as ALICE.
And one thing that these supplies do help is these students so that they can be prepared for back to school and the upcoming school year, but not just this school year, but future school years so that they can get a good education and hopefully higher education and go on to become doctors, astronauts, whatever you name it. But right here in Shreveport, the health community and the medical field is huge, as we have the LSU Health Shreveport campus here for med school students, and the med school students that are incoming for this year who are just beginning their first year recently had their white coat ceremony downtown at the Strand Theater. And that ceremony is usually a rite of passage for med students. It was previously pushed back to right before they started clinicals. I know this because my fiance is just started her third year, which is when they go into clinicals. And that is usually when you're practicing medicine officially, and that's usually when you could expect to see a white coat, but new changes to the school system and the curriculum have moved it up to where before they even go into a classroom, they can receive their white coats and feel like that professional that they aspire to be. And KTAL's Dan Jovic has more about the ceremony and its impact.
150 new students at the LSU Health Shreveport School of Medicine took their official first step toward becoming physicians this week. Students received their first physician's coat. Now, in the past, students received their coats just before entering clinical rotations in their third year of school. Recent changes in the LSU Health curriculum now allow students to have patient experiences, creating a need for their coats as early as the first year.
It feels very surreal. It's been a really busy week of orientation, so it's been very busy, but I think the ceremony and the coat aspect of it just kind of brought things into perspective, but I'm really excited and I'm very, very happy to be here.
This is basically the start of an amazing journey. Medical school has been a dream of mine for a significant period of time, and LSU School of Medicine really does make dreams come true.
Following the ceremony, students and their families were invited back to campus to tour the school and learn more about the medical school journey.
And it is August, which means that football season is right around the corner. We are just under 3 weeks away from the first official college football game, which will be on at the end of this month. And we are today, August 4th, marks 1 month away from NFL football. And with that comes fantasy football, which is a huge part of any football fan's life. If you're not familiar with fantasy football, it is a way to get some skin in the game, essentially, where if you draft a team of players from just around the league or based on your favorite players, every stat that they record, usually rushing, receiving, or passing, or if they score a touchdown, all of that counts as points toward your team that week, and you match up against other league members in your league and go head to head each week. And if you haven't played fantasy football before or don't know what it is, or it seems very intimidating to get into, if you don't have a football background, don't you worry. It really isn't. It's nice to have that football foundation and knowledge of football, but that can only take you so far. It's really just about picking the right team for you and just rolling with that the rest of the season, and making sure that you set your lineups each week. If somebody is on a bye week and they're off that week, be sure to substitute them out for a player who is playing. And there are a bunch of different formats. The most popular one now is what's known as PPR, which is points per reception, where every time your receiver or your running back catches a pass, they get a full point towards their stats that week. I know a lot of people also like to play half PPR, where they only get half of a point for that. And the standard way is no points for any receptions, which is pretty boring in my opinion. I like a lot of points. I like high-scoring affairs, so any more points you can send my way, I'll gladly accept them. But if you're a beginner and you just want a crash course, essentially, all you really have to know is that on draft day, knowledge will only take you so far. It's mainly just about the luck of the draw when it comes to drafting the right players. And while there is a ranking system depending on what site you use to draft on, it's best to not just auto draft it and at least have some strategy coming into it based on your team needs. Like if the best player available that they want you to pick is a quarterback, but you've already taken one, usually you can only start one quarterback every given week. You generally don't want to take a backup quarterback. I personally don't at all, but a lot of people do like to take a backup in the later rounds. I try to avoid that because I view it as a waste of a roster spot, because you only get so many bench spots to substitute out every week. So a backup quarterback is just a waste in my opinion. But if you want to go in with some sort of strategy drafting, you can look at several different cheat sheets and rankings online. There are several different fantasy publications that are going to start pumping out fantasy news and info that you'll want to pay attention to. But I'm here to help you navigate through all of the weeds in terms of, because like I said, there's going to be a ton of different content and you might get overwhelmed, but I'm here to streamline that for you. I'm going to try to start doing something fairly consistently regarding to fantasy football leading up to the first NFL game on September 4th. And if you stick around, I'll give you any tips you need to prepare you for the draft. It's the main thing with, if you have a football knowledge, it is good to have, yes, and know who's good and who's not. But the biggest difference between just having a general understanding and watching the games is to paying attention to the off-season, because not everybody's on the same team as they were last year. If a receiver just signed somewhere in free agency that they're normally not used to, or it's a brand new system and scheme that they're running, it's crucial to pay attention to how that player, even if they are really good, how they fit into that offense or any scheme that they run. Because you can have the greatest receiver in the world that just signed to another team, but if they don't throw him the ball, then he's not getting receptions and yards and catches. He's not scoring any fantasy points. So if that's something to be mindful of, and just know that with training camp going on right now in the NFL as they prepare for their season, it's crucial to pay attention to how those players are being used in the specific roles that they're in, just to get an idea of, okay, he's going to get a lot of catches this year. They're going to use him a lot in the offense. They're going to look to lean on him every week. So that's a surefire bet to go on my team, essentially. But like I said, I'm going to try to do this fairly consistently, at least on Fridays, to maybe get you geared up for the weekend, as a lot of people like to do a bunch of mock drafts once you know what position you're drafting in, which brings me to my next point of the position you're drafting in fantasy football. I don't want to say it means a whole lot, but it matters on how you draft your team. Because if you're in the middle of the round, say a normal fantasy league is usually like 10 to 12 teams, but if you have the 6th, 7th, or 8th pick and you're right in the middle of the pack, your strategy is vastly different than those who are the 1 through 3 or the 10 through 12 at the bookends of each round. And if you're in the middle of the pack, which I find myself being in recently until this year, I recently got the 2nd overall pick in my main league. But if you're in the middle of the pack, it's better to have a plan going forward and know, so you're not just caught in the middle running out of time on the clock and just panicking, because once you see who goes in front of you, if you can see that there's a run going around with a certain position, because when it comes to premium positions, tight ends are usually the ones that you don't want to miss out on, because yes, you have the top 3 guys that are elite and consistently produce each week. They're no doubters for your lineup. There can be guys that are hit or miss one week and then just put a dud up the next week. It's very crucial to not miss out on your floor when it comes to getting your guys, as my friends and I say. If you really like a certain player and you don't want to miss out on them being in that middle slot of the draft in the round, you want to take them because you won't pick again for another 12 picks or so. Whereas if you're on the bookends of each round, you have your choice of 2 pretty high caliber players depending on what round it is. Like, if, for example, if you have the 1st, 2nd, or 3rd pick, yes, you get an upper echelon talent and fantasy stud. But then again, once the draft snakes all the way back around, I mean, you're talking almost 20 picks between your 1st and 2nd picks. So everybody else gets those middle of the pack, hot, but still elite guys. So but once you hit that round 2 and 3 turn, then you have your pick of 2 really high caliber guys to build out the rest of your team. So it's very crucial to, depending on what draft position you're in, to change your strategy based on that. I've personally always leaned towards the back end of the 1st round, because especially the 12th pick, because you can get 12 and 13 back to back, and you're guaranteed 2 top 15 players in terms of their average draft position, or ADP. And I'm going to be using a bunch of different lingo, but also just explaining it for our audience so that they can follow along. I'm going to make it very easy for everybody, whether you're a new or a fantasy veteran. I'm here for everyone to give them a leg up as football season is, like I said, right around the corner. We are exactly 1 month away from the first NFL game. I cannot wait. It is a super exciting time. I'm going to start just diving into all kinds of fantasy research, because this is my favorite time of the year, especially with fantasy draft day. That's usually the most fun when it comes to a fantasy league. Sure, navigating your team throughout the season is also pretty fun, but just getting together with your friends and having that draft and just talking smack to each other the whole time is definitely the highlight of the season for me. So I can't wait to talk more fantasy and just give people everything they need to succeed for the upcoming season. But you can stick with me on KTAL News Now, which airs every Monday through Friday at 1 p.m. You can find all of our previous episodes on our YouTube at KTAL News. But whenever we go live at 1 p.m., it'll be on KTALnews.com every Monday through Friday on KTAL News Now. I'll be hosting every day, Monday through Friday. I'm Anthony Mocklin, and thank you for joining us.